All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the 2024 NHL, 2024-2025 NHL preseason. And today we're going to be talking about this past weekend's hockey. We saw our fair share of games to start it. Starting with this one, the Buffalo Sabres beat the Penguins 7-3. Jesse Puljujarvi on the power play, assisted by Kuvanen and Bros. That's 1-0 Pittsburgh a minute in. And a couple minutes later, JJ Peterka answers with another goal on the power play, assisted by Jack Quinn and Yoki Haru. Then in the second period, JJ Peterka scores his second, assisted by Tuck and Yoki Haru. Then Owen Power, assisted by Byram and Kulik. And then Henry Yoki Haru for his third point of the game, assisted by Cousins and Zach Benson. Zach Benson looking to get on the roster this year. Then Sam Lafferty scores, assisted by Malenstein and Abe Kubel. Then J.J. Peterka scores his hat-trick goal, assisted by Thompson Power at the end of the second. Started the third, Dylan Cousins scores unassisted. And then Puljujarvi scores on the power play, assisted by Rutger McGroarty, coming off that trade from Winnipeg, and O'Connor. Then Puljujarvi scores again to make it 7-3. Assisted by Hayes and Bros again. Shots in the first were 16-7 Buffalo, 19-5 Buffalo, and 8-6 in the third for Buffalo, for a final total of 43-18. But yeah, I mean, Pittsburgh didn't have an equal roster, I would say, going into this one. You look at the Buffalo team here. I mean, a lot of regulars in for them here. Luukkonen went 15 for 18. Blomqvist, he went 18 for 24, and Larson went 18 for 19. So, Blomqvist, tough start, but tough start for the Penguins in general. However, it's just preseason, so it doesn't matter at all. Next one here. We have the Dallas Stars beating the St. Louis Blues 2-1, and this one was a very tight checking, low-scoring game. I think goalies played very well in this one. Jump to the second period, where Kyle Cabianco, hopefully I said that properly, I might not have, who hasn't had much time in the NHL. In 2021-2022, he had 45 games with the Coyotes, but he's looking for a spot on this Dallas team in more of a depth spot. He scores, however, assisted by Petrovic and back. And then it's 1-0 for the Stars going into the third. Third period, Colin Blackwell, assisted by Bichel and Dadonov. And late in the game, Kasperi Kapanen brings the Blues within one, assisted by Dean. Both these rosters were pretty even, I'd say, for the most part, I think. But yeah, DeSmith went 14 for 14. Hellberg went 7 for 8. Ellis for the Blues went 14 to 16. You know, I think he did have an under 900 save percentage, but I think he still played very well in this game. Same with Binnington. Shots in the first were 10-8 Dallas, 12-6 Dallas, and 8-4 for St. Louis, for a final total of 26-22. All right, last game of the day, the Minnesota Wild beat the Jets 5-2. Winnipeg did outshoot them 40-28, but Minnesota takes this one 7-11 in. Caden Bankier scores on the power play. That one's unassisted. Then later, Damian Hunt, looking to find a depth defenseman spot on this team, scores, assisted by Toporowski and Ritchie. And before the period ends, Colin Miller rips one from the point. making it 2-1 for Minnesota, cutting that lead in half. That one was assisted by Nemestikov and Appleton. Shots after the first were 10-5 for Winnipeg. Graham Clark, assisted by Chisholm and Boyd. That's 8-24 in. Then to make it 4-1, Jacob Lauko, and kind of a breakaway, throws it 5-hole, making it 4-1 for the Wild. Then in the third, or after the second, the shots were 19-12 for Winnipeg. And in the third, Ben Jones makes it 5-1. And then at the end of the game, Colby Barlow, assisted by Braden Yager. It was interesting to see Colby Barlow on a line with Yager and Lambert. Could be a future line for the Jets. But he has a great release on that shot, on that goal, making it 5-2. Shots in the third were 11-11. And a final total, as I said earlier, 40-28. Jesper Wallstedt played great, going 38 for 40. And, I mean, Capo Kakinen probably would have had a better performance there. I think he got beat a lot in 5-hole, along the ice on the 5-hole, but once again, it's preseason. Now on to Sunday, where we had 10 games in the first split squad game between the Florida Panthers and the Nashville Predators. Went on the Florida Panthers side. They won 3-2. In the second period, Sam Bennett put the Panthers on the board with his first of the preseason, assisted by Tkachuk and Havorka. Then Hunter St. Martin scores by Sachin, assisted by Sachin, making it 2-0. Then to make it 3-0, Rasmus Asplund scores. In the third, Nashville pressed very well. Cole Smith, assisted by Leroux and McCarron. And Joakim Kemmel scores to make it 3-2. Shots in the first were 9-9, 10-8 for Nashville, 7-6 for Nashville, for a final total of 26-23 for the Predators. Goaltending wise, the Predators, Matt Murray went 13 for 15, and Hayter went 7 for 8. And for the Panthers, Spencer Knight coming back. I love this, seeing him go 19 for 19 shutout through his half. It's good to see him back, playing very well. He's going to be relied upon to refill that backup position, like I think we all think he can. So then Black went 5 for 7. All right, still ripping through these here. Flyers beat the Capitals 6-2. Shots at the end of the game were 28-21 for the Flyers. Bobby Brink scores in the first. Then Morgan Frost scores to make that 2-0. Andrew Crystal gets the Capitals on the board to make it 2-1. Then Joel Farabee scores on the power play. And Marishnichenko scores on the power play to make it 3-2, cutting the lead down to 1. But in the third, Bobby Brink, who had an amazing game, assisted by Luchenko, who had 2 assists in this one. Watch out for him and Joel Farabee. And Sell scores to make it 5-2, and Morgan Frost gets his second of the game, assisted by Farabee for his third point of the game. And Michkov scores. He also had a great game in this one. Good to see the Flyers starting off strong in the preseason. Rangers beat the Bruins 3-2. Cole Kopk scores to make it 1-0 Boston early in the first. 9 minutes later, Mancini scores to make it 1-1, and Philip Hedl on the power play scores to make it 2-1. In the second, Trevor Kuntar ties it at 2, and then Alex Belzile scores, make it 3-2. Shots at the end were 20-22 for the Bruins. Goaltending, Rangers, Dylan Garand had a great game. Both goaltenders had a great game. Louis Domingue, 14 for 15. Dylan Garand, 12 for 13. On to the Bruins side, DiPietro went 9 for 10, and Busey went 10 for 12. And moving on to the last or second split squad game between the Panthers and the Predators. This one also went the Panthers' way, 6-2, and we got a lot of scoring for you in the first period. Sam Reinhart scores, making 1-0 on the power play. Then Josh Davies scores on the power play to make it 2-0. Jesper Boquist scores, followed by Gustav Forling. 4-0 Florida. 16 minutes in, a minute after that, Jake Lucchini scores to make it 4-1. Gets the Predators on the board. Patrick Gills makes it 5-1 Florida, and Boquist scores. Adam Boquist, sorry, I forgot there's two of them now. And then Steven Stamkos, assisted by Evangelista and O'Reilly. You love to see those connecting on the power play. Shots were 26-24 for the Nashville Predators. Oilers-Jets. Oilers win 3-2 in overtime. David Gustafsson scores early. 1-0 Winnipeg. Sam O'Reilly, Knights, former Knights player, OHL champion, first round pick for the Oilers, scores on a breakaway. Great stretch pass from the D on that one. Then in the third, Raphael Lavoie scores on the power play, assisted by also Mike Hoffman, who's looking to make the team. Then Tony Nato scores to tie it at 2, assisted by another 06 prospect, Kevin He. Got invited to main camp. And Cam Dineen in overtime scores to make it 3-2 Edmonton. Shots at the end of the game were 28-19 for the Oilers, giving Winnipeg their second loss of the preseason. And Eric Comrie played the whole game, went 25 for 28. I don't think he had his strongest outing. But as I've said, it's the preseason. Then Rodrigue went 6 for 7. And Colin Delia went 11 for 12 for the Edmonton Oilers. Alright guys, I promise I'm trying to rip through these on to the next here. The Islanders beat the Devils 4-2. Shots at the end of the game were 28-25 for the Islanders. Nico Hischier scores in this one early, assisted by Bratt. Then Anders Lee scores in the second. And Jesper Bratt scores for his second point, making it 2-1 New Jersey. Julian Gauthier ties it at 2. And then in the third, Theising, if I said that correctly, makes it 3-2 New York. And then Holmstrom scores to make it 4-2. Yeah, a little bit disappointing for New Jersey. I think they probably had the edge in the lineup area. Markstrom went 17 for 19. Nico Dawes went 7 for 8. For the Islanders, Skarek went 8 for 8. And Hogberg went 15 for 17. Okay, I promise we are getting close here. The Blues lost to Utah, the Utah Hockey Club, 5-3. The debut of Utah in the NHL. This one starts Dylan Holloway coming over from Edmonton, scores on the power play. And then in the second, Malmstrom, an own goal by the Utah Hockey Club. Not a great look to start, but 6 minutes later, Carcone scores. And then Konyotin scores to make it 2-2. Dylan Guenther, who has signed a big contract, scores on the power play. And then Simon Robertson scores for the Blues, tying it at 3. Logan Cooley makes it 4-3, and Carcone again scores. Utah won in the shot department, 31-25. And then the next game here, we got the Golden Knights against the Sharks. Burke scores early for the Vegas Golden Knights. Then Brett Howden in the second, and Uronen makes it 3-0 for Vegas. But Macklin Celebrini scores on the power play, making it 3-1. Tyler Toffoli again on the power play, but Tanner Pearson ends it on a wraparound with 10 seconds left. Shots were 37-20 for the Vegas Golden Knights. Seville went 10 for 12. Schmidt went 8 for 8. And Sharks goaltending. Blackwood went 16 for 18, and Romanov went 17 for 18. He played very well. All right, second last one here. We got the Flames beating the Kraken 6-1. Kraken outshot them 34-27. And this one starts. Calgary goes up 3-0 early in the first from goals from Bishop, Coronado, and Klapka. They make it 4-0 with a goal from Poirier. They won this one before it even began, really. And Villeneuve, who is interesting seeing him score, makes it 4-1. And then Klapka again and Martin Ferk. And goaltending for the Flames, Dustin Wolf played incredible, like he has been in his pro hockey career so far. He had a .971 save percentage, gave up 1 on 34. And for the Kraken, Stenska went 6 for 8. And Grubauer went 15 for 19. But it's preseason, so it's okay. Alright, I saved this one for last. I was going to make a separate video for it. But I figured it's the preseason, so it's okay. The Ottawa Senators beat the Toronto Maple Leafs 6-5. Now, I'm going to let you guys know that I am a Leafs fan. However, I'm not completely delusional, just a little bit. So, I know the realistic expectations of this team. If you think this team's going to win the Stanley Cup, you're wrong. We saw a great Maple Leafs showcase, a classic game tonight, or I guess last night when this video is going to be out. Let's just go through it. Jan Jenik scores, makes it 1-0. And Woll played very well in the first period. Gave up 1 on 15. They got outshot 15-2. They just looked sluggish. They just were getting worked by, you can see all over social media, an AHL team. Basically, it was. Toronto had their full roster basically in. And they lost to them. We'll get more into that at the end. Just a poor performance in that first period. And the start of the second kind of stayed the same way. But 7 minutes in, Matthew Nyes buries one, makes it 1-1, turns it around a little bit. Oh, but then at the end, or midway through the second, they score a couple quick ones by Reinhart and Gaudette. And the shots after the second were 12-10. But in the third period, Toronto did battle back. You got to give them credit. I think that was the only positive in the game. The only positives were Pacioretty scoring a couple, and Woll played great in the first. And they battled back, I guess. But you all also was an AHL team. Pacioretty scores in the third. Then Austin Matthews on the power play. Then Pacioretty again to make it 4-3. But just after, Donovan Sabrango ties it up at 4. Then Reinhart again scores a second to make it 5-4. And then Willie Nylander scores to tie it. Tavares' third point of the night. Pacioretty's third point of the night. This one goes in overtime where, imagine a lot of you saw, Yakmachuk buries and walks around $29 million. But it's just the preseason. But it's also the first time the Leafs have been under Craig Berube in a real game. I guess not a real game. I don't know why. In a game. And they lost. It's tough, but what do you expect, really? It's classic. Sogard went 32 for 37. Matt Murray went Another positive, too, was Easton Cowan. I think he played well. He was +1, had one shot, worked hard, got in the gritty areas. Matt Murray went 8 for 11. Wool went 20 for 23. But we'll see if we can see a better performance on Tuesday from the Leafs. But yeah, I mean, I definitely did not intend for this video to be this long for the preseason. And how I'm going to do this for my videos through the whole season, I'm going to do a recap of the NHL I was going to do just 1 week. I don't know yet what I'm going to do, but I might just do a video on Monday of the games from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then do kind of a quicker one that I'll post Friday morning for the games from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, as well as power ranking videos, other news videos. I'm going to be doing some breakdowns of games, try and teach the game as well. Yeah, that's basically it. I'd like to thank you guys for watching the first video, and more to come for sure, so stay tuned. But man, that's the start. So I'll see you guys next time.